TYT Sports, so this weekend is providing one of the most anticipated fights in the 2012 year in the sport of boxing. Lucian Bute, the Romanian/Canadian, I guess you could say, puts his IBF title on the line, his super middleweight title on the line, that is, against Carl the Cobra Froch, who is married to the lovely Rachel Cordingly. We bring in Robert Exel, the editor-in-chief of boxing.com. Robert, how are you today, man?
I'm great. How are you, Rick?
Good. We're doing good over here at Rebel headquarters. So let's talk about this fight very quickly. It's taking place not in Canada, not in Quebec, at the Bell Center, in which Lucian Bute fights most of his fights, it appears. It's taking place in Nottingham, England, Capital FM Arena, which is where Carl Froch is from. So this is a very intriguing fight in that Lucian Bute is fighting away from his adopted home in Canada. Do you think it is risky for him to settle for this sort of fight away from his own backyard in Canada?
I think rather than it being risky, I think it's an indication of Bute's confidence in his own abilities and his own skills, that he's willing to go into Froch's backyard and fight Froch in front of a screaming crowd of tens of thousands. I mean, it's an indication of exactly what Bute thinks he possesses, and what I think he possesses, which is fabulous boxing skills and a chance to win this fight.
Many people are saying, and it appears to be their thoughts, that he is going to fight with a chip on his shoulder, and he certainly has something to prove by leaving Canada and fighting in Nottingham. Do you agree with that?
Well, he is such a superb athlete. I mean, I don't know that he has a chip on his shoulder. He doesn't feel like the chip on one's shoulder type to me. I think Bute is just very sort of centered, and I mean, you've seen him fight before. I mean, he's an exemplary boxer, and Carl Froch has his gifts, but being an exemplary boxer is really not one of them. He's tough, he takes a good shot, he comes to fight, but he is really going to be up against a master. And even though they have fought very different levels of competition, I mean, I think that's what makes this fight as interesting as anything, because Froch has been in with really marquee fighters, whereas Bute has not. So it's up in the air in that regard. But again, Bute is such a superior talent, a superb talent. I can't wait to see what he does in Nottingham this Saturday.
Lucian Bute, 30-0, possesses a perfect record with 24 knockouts. Carl Froch, 28-2, 20 knockouts. Now, let me ask you very quickly. Carl Froch has said, and I quote about Lucian Bute, that he is overrated and that he has not fought quality opponents. His last 6 fights, this is for Lucian Bute: Glenn Johnson, Jean-Paul Mendy, Brian McGee, Jesse Brinkley, Edison Miranda, Liberato Andrade. You could say that Glenn Johnson is maybe his most notable. Edison Miranda certainly up there. Andrade is a good, not great, not average fighter, certainly above average. But would you agree with what Carl Froch has said, that he has not fought the most talented and quality opponents?
I would agree. I would definitely agree. I mean, Froch has fought Kessler. Froch has fought Arthur Abraham. Froch has fought Ward. Froch has fought Jermaine Taylor. I mean, Froch has really fought the cream of the crop, and Bute is not. Again, that's going to be interesting, but once they get in the ring. But again, I think that Bute, and again, I could be wrong. It wouldn't be the first time, and it won't be the last time. But I think Bute's skills are really going to win the day. I think Froch is going to fight Froch's fight, which is that he's going to come forward, he's going to be aggressive, he's going to get hit a lot, take a lot of shots, take them well. But I think he's going to have a hard time finding Bute. He moves so well. He's a southpaw. He throws punches in bunches. I mean, he's just a terrific athlete and a terrific boxer. He's not a scintillating fighter the way Andre Ward is not a scintillating fighter. Perhaps somebody for the cognoscente rather than for the average fight fan. But he is a terrific, sweet scientist.
And also with Lucian Bute, he, people have questioned his chin, which is certainly a point to be made and one to take in. However, the way that he displays his boxing ability and the mechanics that he has to protect his chin, the way that he throws, the way that he again, protects his chin with his shoulder, keeps his chin underneath his shoulder at all times. A very exemplary boxer, as you said. But can you talk about his chin a little bit? I mean, is it something that if he gets hit once, he could possibly go down because he hasn't been so completely tested in his career?
Well, it's certainly possible. I think anybody can get hit once and go down. It depends on how hard they get hit, and more importantly, it depends on whether or not they see the punch coming.
Sure, but let me cut you off right there, though, Robert, because I guess what I'm trying to say is, when was the last time that you saw him take a really good punch on the chin and just take it, not go down? I mean, technically, have we seen that from him?
Well, we haven't, but again, I mean, Froch has to be able to sort of land a good punch in order to put Bute down. As you pointed out, I mean, he's really an excellent fighter defensively as well as offensively. He's not going to be easy to catch. And Froch, I mean, I think Froch's power is somewhat overrated, frankly. Granted, he took out Jermaine Taylor, but we know Jermaine Taylor has been not in good shape for quite a while. Sure. So I look at that KO somewhat skeptically. I think Froch is going to. I mean, he's going to come forward. He's going to make a good fight of it. I don't know that Bute is as clever as Andre Ward, but I do think that he is an incredibly skilled boxer, and perhaps as skilled as Andre Ward, not as clever. Maybe he doesn't know as many tricks as Andre Ward, but he's a great boxer, and we'll see what Froch can do against a boxer who is as slick as Lucian Bute.
You just echoed what I was about to say. I would probably describe him as a good puncher. Lucian Bute, this is a good puncher, slick, very skilled, and can slip a lot of punches. Another quote from Carl Froch on Bute: "I'm not sure if he's as good as Kessler, Andre Dirrell, or Jermaine Taylor. I really don't, because he's only fought Brian McGee and Glenn Johnson." What do you say to that, Robert?
Well, I mean, Carl Froch is Carl Froch. I mean, sure. I like Carl Froch as a personality. A lot of people don't, but he is a master of trash talk. I mean, he's really good at that. Every fighter has their own style when it comes to talking and building up a fight, and Froch has his style, and I like it. I mean, he's not modest. You know, he's cocky as hell, and he'll say what he needs to say, whether it's true or not true. I think he believes it nonetheless, but I'm not so sure that I am. I'm 100% convinced.
Carl Froch's last 5 fights, very quickly. Andre Ward, a loss in the Super 6 final. Glenn Johnson, Arthur Abraham, a loss to Mikael Kessler, Andre Dirrell, Jermaine Taylor, and Jean Pascal. Certainly a very good resume, you have to say, for Carl Froch. So let me get your take on this. Again, in Nottingham, England, on Saturday, 6 p.m. Eastern Time, that is, on Epix. I'm not even sure if I get that, but I hope I do. Would you say that Lucian Bute will dominate the fight by moving around, using his ring generalship, dodging punches, and using the counter? I mean, what would you say it's going to come down to?
No, I think that's what it will come down to. I think Bute is pretty much going to dominate the first 2/3 of the fight, simply by his skills, by being elusive. I think Froch will eventually adapt, sort of figure out the southpaw style that he's facing, and will probably come on strong in the later rounds, but I don't think it'll be enough. I think Bute walks away with a decision.
We've talked about the likes of Carl Froch and Lucian Bute, obviously, but for Froch, it's always a come-forward mentality. I mean, do you think that Bute could catch him when he's coming in, drop him maybe once or twice in this fight?
It's possible. I mean, Bute's power has been questioned, but again, I mean, 80% of his fights have ended in knockouts. So, I mean, you know, numbers perhaps speak louder than words. It's possible that he'll catch him and drop him, but again, Froch has got a good chin, and Froch has got he's really got a fighter's heart. He's not going to go down and stay down. That's not Carl Froch's style. I mean, he is to the manner born. He's going to keep fighting no matter what it is that he's facing.
Last question for you, Robert. Again, we said before that it is one of the more anticipated fights of the 2012 calendar year in boxing. HBO and Showtime, we were talking off the air, you mentioned to me that they passed on it. How come?
Well, I mean, I don't have any sort of inside dope on that. Both of those fighters are our Showtime fighters, both traditionally. And yet, I think that the reason they passed on this fight is because I think it's a hard fight to promote. You have a French-Canadian versus an English fighter. The fan base in boxing is, as you know, Hispanic, probably seconded by African American, and then the French Canadians and the English. I just think it was a hard fight for them to promote. I mean, every fight needs an angle, as you know, and I don't know what the angle is. And the fact that they're great fighters, possibly engaging in a great fight, isn't an angle enough. They need a hook in which to promote this fight, and this fight, unfortunately, for geographical reasons, simply didn't have it.
Robert Exel, the editor-in-chief of boxing.com. You could also find him on Twitter at boxing_com. And please read his stuff because it is some phenomenal work. Robert, thank you so much for the time. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, Rick. I appreciate that.